Greetings and welcome to your second lesson, number 44, Corporate Bylaws, as a part of the Entrepreneurial Toolbox assignment. So first we're going to overview the table of contents and discuss what topics we're going to explore in this presentation. Initially, we're going to start with corporate bylaws and what are they and what is the intention for them. Formation and function, how are they formed and what do they do in the company that assists in its functioning. And then we're going to talk about the articles of incorporation and discuss why it's different from the bylaws and in what ways. And then what is the purpose of bylaws? What is their function and intention, and why they exist in the first place? And then what material is included in the bylaws? How do these bylaws affect the board of directors, committees, and vice presidents? What are the meeting rules, and how do meetings run? And then we're going to discuss the corporate record book, which is basically the filing source for all of the bylaws and other such information. What the difference between a C and S corporation is, and how that distinguishes the corporate taxation process by having either a C or S corp. And then we're going to talk about the shareholders, which are the partial owners invested in a company. And then I'm going to provide a reference list to the creators that have created all of the articles and such that I got my resources from. And we're going to close with a little final words kind of a thing. So what are corporate bylaws? A corporation refers to a business that has been incorporated, and this process is known as incorporation. This is where you choose whether you're going to be an S corporation or a C corp. Bylaws are the guidelines and the laws of how discrepancies should be resolved when they arise, and how to function at its highest potential. Formation and function. Bylaws are formed by the initial board of directors and executives. The executives are more than likely a part of the board of directors, so they will have influence over how the company is run and abides by which rules. The bylaws are followed for most internal activities, and they are the primary reference point to resolve any discrepancies between the members of the company. These formal bylaws can be amended at any time, following the proper procedure designated within the bylaws at the time they are established. So what are the articles of incorporation? How are they different than the bylaws? So first off, the articles of incorporation are not the corporate bylaws by any means. The articles of incorporation provide the basic information about the company, like what is the company's name, where is it located, and other information that the state and the federal government needs to know about the existence of the company. While on the other hand, the corporate bylaws are the details and the procedure for actually running the internal activities of the corporation and its mission. So what is included in corporate bylaws? The articles of incorporation, obviously you need the information that you generated to start the corporation in the first place. Then the location of the primary office, which should be the home of the corporate records book or binder. How often meetings will be held and where they will be held. Procedure to amend the bylaws. So what structure and what formalities do you need to follow within the company to amend and alter the bylaws. Information regarding the board of directors, the vice presidents, and the committees, such as who is in them, the quantity of people needed to run them, public or private stock, whether it's private or public, and the quantity of stock and to whom it is owned by, instructions for the possibility of a financial audit, business rules and contract, the corporation's fiscal year, aka tax year, that it follows, and the procedure for preparing and inspecting the corporate record book regularly. The board of directors, the vice presidents, and the committees need to be monitored by the bylaws in the following ways: how long their term should last, how often they should be replaced, the meetings information, which is provided on the next slide, who is holding which position of a particular division, and the actions of a member, good and bad, because we need a record of how they handle issues. And these are some of the rules that the corporate record book and bylaws would likely include regarding these divisions. Formal meetings. The meetings by the board of directors, the committees, and the VPs should be held together at least once a month so that everyone is aware of what's going on and they can each catch each other up. But then, just like how founders can have individual meetings with employees specifically, these groups have the option to meet and discuss dynamics specific to their focus area at any time. The meetings must be documented by keeping track of the minutes dedicated to establishing the various aspects. There is a sample provided on the left. The corporate record book, perhaps the most important aspect of the bylaws, is basically where all the bylaws are stored along with all the other information for the business, such as stock certificates, the meeting minutes, the certifications, the articles of incorporation, the tax documents, the active bylaws, which, all of the bylaws, the details required are listed in previous slides by what's included in the bylaws. The bylaws need to be housed in the corporate record book. And the budget. So there are two types of corporations. There is a C Corp and an S Corp. So you can file either it's one or the other, and they're taxed differently, but we will begin with the similarities that exist between the two distinguishable types. They're both legal entities. They both must comply with state requirements. Both can provide deductible employee benefits and limited liability protection for shareholders, and both require shareholders to pay personal income tax on core salaries. However, although there are many similarities, the significant primary difference is in how they are taxed. Both C and S Corps are taxed by the federal government, so you've got to pay taxes either way. However, the difference is pass-through taxation or double taxation. The S Corp has pass-through taxation, which essentially means that you only have to pay taxes through your personal income. And the C Corp, basically it's double taxed because the corporation pays taxes for its own existence, but then also the individual, that counts as income for the individual, so it's taxed again. So the C Corp basically is taxed twice. The S Corp is only taxed once through your personal income. And then we've got shareholders. As shareholders are partial owners in a company, but there is public and private stock. So public stock is available to anyone, and private stock is limited to the company executives. Shareholders are the partial owners of the company, and however much they own is based on the amount of stock they have. There is a shareholder register and a shareholder list, both of which provide information on the shareholders. The shareholder register is a physical or digital certificate clarifying the ownership in the corporation. And then the register is kept up to date in real time, so there is a consistent track record of the ownership. The shareholder list is only updated once annually and shows the summary of the partial owners of the company. Stock certificates. Stock certificates were previously physical pieces of paper, and they were adorned extravagantly with engravings, embossments, and imagery. They were often hung up in a valuable place where they could be displayed. But nowadays, they are mostly only available online, and none of this traditionally decorated value is currently applicable. For example, the one on the bottom left is a stock certificate from Disney, and as you can see, there are many characters and such which distinguish Walt Disney as its own company. And then here is the list of references and where I acquired this information and general knowledge on corporate bylaws. I will provide the links in my descriptions so that you can follow them directly to the website if you have any questions. So in conclusion, I was not aware of any of this when the project began, so pretty much all of it has been overload of new information for me. Some of the things I had not even heard of, so I needed to delve deeper, and then I would find something else out and I'd have to explore deeper again just to find out what the last thing meant to understand the total concept. Thank you.